Right, this is a little video to show my two Seiko LX line Pro-Spec spring drive watches. You could probably get away with calling them about 4 or 5 different things. If I go by model name, you'll kind of roughly get there. I have a thing for spring drives. I like them, I like the movements, I like the technology. I have a thing for GMT watches. I always have done. And my local Seiko dealer here in Doha had a special offer a while ago, and I won't even tell you how special because you won't believe me. And so rather than having to make a decision, I picked up these two. And they have a lot of similarities despite being very different watches. I'll start with the one on the bracelet. This is the catchily named, you in focus there? This is the catchily named SNR025J1, indicating it's made in Japan. It's, I guess with this LX line of the Pro-Specs, there's land, sea and air. And this is one of the land ones. I also have a thing for Seiko Landmasters. I've owned a couple of the old kinetic movement ones, plus the bull-headed Seiko spring drive Landmaster, the titanium one, with the alphabet soup string of initials after its name that I can never remember. Excuse me, frog in my throat. It's good if you like big watches, because this is a big watch. Both these watches have got the same case. So that means they're both over 44mm in diameter, nearly 15mm in thickness, and about 51mm lug to lug. So if I hold the two watches up face to face, dial to dial, you can see it's the same profile. Slightly different profile to the bezel, slightly different crowns. The black one here I'll come to in a second is much more of a traditional crown shape. This one looks more like a truncated juicer. And there's a lot going on here that I really like about this watch. Like I said earlier though, as long as you can get past the sheer size of it. It's a bit of a fatty. And I, say that with all affection. The crystal is sapphire and has very good anti-reflective coating. The dial is polished, applied indices. The hands delicious, very nice polished metal. For the 3 main time hands, the 24-hour hand is that yellow thing. You've got the, what's the word? You've got the power reserve there, which you can either live with or can't. If you can't, this isn't the watch for you. But then, most spring drives have them. You got a nice outline date on the dial there. You got a friction bezel, and that's a compass bezel. And again, either that grates or it fits in nicely with your Walter Mitty fantasies, and you can get on with it. It's all right. One of the things I noticed about this watch, which was new to me, I think I've had a watch with this feature before, is the end pieces of the bracelet. I've been wearing it broadly on a collection of NATO straps, mainly because I was still not sure exactly which one I'm going to sell, and I was going to keep the bracelet in nice mint condition. But I thought, what the heck, might as well put it on, might as well wear it, might as well resize it. So that, of course, means wrestling with the usual pins and collars that Seiko puts on a lot of their bracelets. But look at this. The end pieces of the bracelet are fixed and pivoted. I mean, I guess to allow the movement of the bracelet properly within the end link, but the end pieces are solidly milled out of metal and fixed onto the bracelet. And they're also probably sharp enough to hurt somebody. I reckon you could do some damage with those sharp edges there. But they fit into the watch nicely and perfectly. And the bracelet's a nice piece. The asymmetric pieces, asymmetric links with this flattened panel here, giving it a nice bit of depth. Shame the clasp is just a little bit kind of perfunctory, although it does have the usual Seiko diver's extension, which makes adjusting it in hot weather, and if you've got fat inflatable wrists, quite easy and straightforward. I just thought the end pieces there were worthy of comment. Fits my 7.5-inch wrist all right, I think. And because it's titanium, it's not that heavy, despite its size. It shares a movement with the black one. If the unpolished one, If this one is the land, then this is the air. And it looks very different, despite being very similar. It's got a polished ceramic bezel insert. The hour and the minute hands are black. The 24-hour hand and the second hands are polished. It comes on a rubberized crocodile strap, which is a strong statement for what's usually a conservative company like Seiko, and a fold-down deployant clasp. And, you know, it suffers the usual problem that I have with rubber straps, in that the holes are a little too far apart and I can never get comfortable. But again, it's the 5R66 spring drive movement, same as the other one. And as a pair, they make an attractive pair. They make an attractive pair of watches. What, you're going to ask me which one I like best? You're going to ask me which is the best watch? It's tricky, because the best one is probably this one. And that's my much older SBGE001. I prefer it, of the two that I've shown, the 2 LX, I think I prefer the titanium on the bracelet, this one. The black is just a bit too much. But the titanium on the bracelet is just a little bit, I don't know, a little bit obvious, a little bit shouty, a little bit in your face. It looks a little bit smaller than the older SBGE001, but the older steel watch here is just a little bit more mature. The quality of the bezel is parlous. They both share very similar movements. The LX is a 5R66. My steel watch is 9R66, and my perfunctory Googling shows very little difference between them. This one's titanium, this one's steel, so the steel one's a little heavier. The steel one has a slightly lower profile, but only slightly. There's not much in it, there really isn't. But to be honest, I'm lucky to have all three watches, really. All three of them are great watches, and you'd be happy to wear any of them, I think. But the older watch in steel is probably my favourite.